we got a package. This is the ZimaBoard. Hello and welcome back to this. So today in front of me we have the ZimaBoard 832. So now this isn't like the normal type of video I type of make, but ZimaBoard reached out to me and they offered me to send me one of these in order for a sponsored video. And honestly, I think what they're doing here is pretty cool. And just because this video is sponsored, just remember all these opinions are still my own and have not been influenced in ZimaBoard anyway. They've given me no talking points, none of that. This is completely unbiased though. So we're just starting the packaging here. They've got a couple things. It's just like, I think these are all just, you know, generic and come with everyone. I didn't get anything special for, you know, yeah. So, okay, we got some packaging shavings. But here's the actual ZimaBoard itself. But before we get to this, let's go for the power adapter, 12 volt, 3 amp. Now, did they ship me an American one? I think it's, yeah, oh yeah, it's universal. So yeah, it's just a typical power adapter. And here's the real star, the ZimaBoard 832. So I just realized I didn't get my screwdriver out here. So we're gonna take this off of my multimeter here. And now we have something sharp that I can use to just, you know, cut this. So now specs wise of this thing, it's got a N3450 from Intel. 8 gigabytes of RAM and 32 gigs of storage. Now you might think that's pretty small for storage, but keep in mind you're really supposed to like attach more storage to this thing because, well, that you can use it as a NAS because it's got 2 network ports on it. We will take a look at that right after, you know, get the thing open. So how exactly does this get open? So they advertise this to the average home library, which, you know what, I have like a server in my basement that I just use for, you know, NAS. Just for some extra storage that I can access anywhere. It's got a box in a box. It's cool. I can get this out. So now, how do I get this out? It's like a book, I think. Okay. User's manual. Who needs that? Yeah, screw off. So it comes in anti-static bag, like normal. That's nice. So that's metal there. PCIe by 4 here. So it also doesn't have that little clip there at the end. So wait, hold on. So this here is a GTX 760 I just have laying around. And since this isn't clipped there, oh wait, is there clearance? I think there might be a clearance issue here. Oh, it just barely fits. It blocks the internal here. But that's one of the ways to use this. I think I have something a little bit more practical and maybe something more supported. Now this looks a little bit more like something that you'd actually attach to one of these. You know what? I think the one thing about that they didn't consider with the design of this is that the top of the PCIe slot, it will hit anything here. So I think that's not a big deal for something like this, like an M.2 to NGFF card. So I think I can just unscrew this and then put it on. So I'm gonna try that real quick. So I kind of just like bent it out of place because I couldn't find my screwdriver. It's fine, whatever. I never use this card anyway and just pretty much bought it for this. So in terms of I/O, we have just a mini display port here. We've got dual gigabit LAN, I believe. And then these two are, of course, USB 3 and the barrel jack there. So how about we get this thing plugged in and we'll test out the included operating system on this thing. It's CasaOS. I believe ZimaBoard is also the maintainers of that project. So, you know what, their own hardware, their own software should work pretty well with it. So, yeah. Actually, before we go into the operating system itself, I just want to show off, you know, the little Y splitter that they have here. So if you plug in a SATA cable into the back, then they have this little 3-pin or 4-pin here that you can use for power, so you don't have to get it from anywhere else. So let me just get that in. Okay, so it goes in after some force on both sides, but then if you plug in this side too, you get 2 SATA cables that you can plug in to anything you want. So you have 2, one here, and they also included, I'm not sure if this comes with everything standard, as I was an influencer in this product. So you have your little 2.5-inch stand. I think you have to put it together yourself. I think there's a baggie of screws. So they advertise this as a kind of do-it-yourself solution. So, you know, it's acceptable that, you know, I have to put something together, though it's not immediately certain how these two parts go together. So this here is my home server that I use pretty much on a daily basis, just as a regular storage server. It's like at least 10 years old. I got this for free. So the backstory behind this is that I used to run a little bit of a Switch modding business, like Nintendo Switch, and some guy just offered, oh yeah, instead of paying you $50 for it, I'll give you this computer. And I was in need for something at the time, so I said yeah. And ever since then, that was about a year and a half ago, I've had this computer just here running 24/7. And the one complaint I have about it, it's been okay, but the power consumption on it is absolutely crazy. Originally I had the GTX 760 that I showed in the beginning clip in there, and that was drawing so much power. And even now with just a hard drive and an SSD, it was dragging off a lot of power. So I'm gonna see if it's a viable replacement to replace it with ZimaBoard to see if I can, maybe cut the energy bill a little bit. So first things first, let's just power this thing off. Okay, so now we just need to pull out this hard drive here, so it's all powered off. So I'll pull out power, and then just try and slide the whole cage out. This is just a 1 terabyte drive, simple. So the ZimaBoard doesn't have an official way to mount a 3.5-inch drive, so I'm just gonna keep it in the sled and hope for the best. So I think this is the setup that we're gonna go with for here. So we've got the hard drive linked up here with the SSD adapter here in the PCIe slot, and then we just have power here, and I'll get the networking cable out of here, out of this. And my goal is, I wanna see if I can fit this into my electrical closet right here with my home router. Maybe I can mount it somewhere here, just so I don't have to have this big eyesore here anymore. So I'll try and get that mounted in right now. So anyone who's more versed in electrical stuff, I think I'm just unplugging my router right now. So bye-bye router, pull out extension cord, and then plug back in this. And now, hopefully, we can also get power to the ZimaBoard. You can close this all up and it'll actually look nice. Well, nice is subjective. Okay, so this might not be the smartest setup of all time, but you know what? I think it works. So if we can close this. Yep, it's hidden. You can open it, it's all still there. So I guess now we plug this in, and then we do all the software configuration needed for this. So it's the first time I'm powering up this. Let's plug this in. So we have a light on the PCIe expansion cord. I hear the hard drive spinning, and I'm seeing lights. So I guess I'll have to just look at the connected devices on my network to find the local IP address of this, and then we can start with the setup. Okay, so now we have the CasaOS here, so we can just hit login. Let's create a new password, so let's just go, and I'm not gonna show you the credentials. Okay, so now we're just on my computer here. So it says it's found 2 new drives. This is just the default interface. I haven't logged into any of this. All I've done is found just the IP address here, and yeah. So let's go files, or no, let's go storage manager. So that's the system, which is the 32 gigabyte eMMC, which is actually pretty cool that it comes with that. So we have SDA and NVMe. So NVMe should be just completely empty, but SDA has a ton of files. So if we go files, location maybe? No. So terminal and logs. So if we go, so I don't know what the default username and password is. I'm gonna go look that up. Okay, so apparently the defaults are just CasaOS and CasaOS. So yeah, that got us pretty quickly. So ls. So we're running are we running apt? So yeah, we can run sudo apt update, because this is probably a pretty old build of everything. So it's running Debian. So you can see actually the CPU usage over here. That's actually pretty cool. So let's go sudo apt upgrade. Make sure we're all on the latest. So let's see actually 168.2.123. I want to see what the CPU is. Okay, so we have everything ready here, so let's just go for a sudo reboot, which I assume will reboot the entire system to kick me out. So we'll go offline. Yep. So now let's wait a couple minutes, see if this will come back online on its own. So now we're back online here, and we have our 2 drives here. So I wonder if we can, it's not letting us mount it in here. That's what I would have liked to see here is a way to mount it easily, but I'm sure we can just go into the terminal here and hit it with a little LSB We can see our partitions here. So STA 0, STA 1. Oh wow, okay, so it's shown our storage. So single storage device, ext4. And now what I want to check out is the App Store, because that's also kind of cool. Let's go App Store. So Chatbot UI, ChatGPT. So what I want to see is something like Jellyfin. Yeah, let's try Jellyfin because I do have some videos on that drive. So maybe you can try something. So they advertise this as a personal NAS, 4K streaming server, VPN router, and IoT gateway. So I'm going to test everything besides the IoT gateway. So what I usually do on my personal system and on my last NAS, I had Tailscale installed, and I would be using that to SSH into my machines remotely. So I want to see if I can repeat the same thing here. So let's open up Jellyfin first. So no servers. That's not very intuitive, but I guess we'll go like this. There's no default, so let's hit forgot password. No, we don't remember it, so I wonder if there's any documentation in the App Store for Jellyfin. It does not look like there is. Oh, so if I launch it through here, it puts me through the web wizard, so okay, sure. So my username, just my name. Okay, so add media library. So content type. Sure, movies. They're not really movies, but it's just my my stuff. So where's the folders section? Folders. So let's go. Oh, this is probably running in Docker. So let's see if we can go MNT. It's not in there. So I'm not sure how to. I don't really work with Docker on the regular, so I don't know how to pass in a drive. So I'm gonna see if I can figure that out. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I've mounted the drive just by going into settings here and then just typing in the point on my host and on the container. So if we create a library, add media library, content type, movies, so folders, let's see, mnt/drive. Okay, so this is what I wanted to see. So let's just go see if I can find the test.get tech archive that I know I have on here. So I should scan all of this. Maybe you guys will see some raw footage. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I just need to scan for the details. So I hit play on the PS3 video. Okay, so it's handling the stream pretty well. I mean, I can just kind of go through it. So I just want to see how hard is the CPU getting hit. So we're going 45% CPU usage, 13% RAM, while we're just running one H.264 direct streaming. So what if I wanted to go to, transcode it or down to 720p? See if this will spike up because we're now using QuickSync. So now we're going 83% because we're trying to do live transcoding, which this is a Celeron. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt, but this is also a nearly $200 machine. So 80% CPU usage, transcribing down to 720p. So this isn't. So now I want to see if I can get Tailscale installed on this thing. So we will go to the terminal. Here, CasaOS. And now the good thing between this and something like a Raspberry Pi is that this is full fat Linux. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it's full x86 Linux, so I should be able to do or maybe we go to the Tailscale website. I'm pretty sure we have a get started, and I'm doxing myself. So what I meant to do is this, and we can go here, grab the script, go here. Okay, so now we have Tailscale up, so we'll go sudo Tailscale up -- advertise exit node, just so I can run a quick little VPN thing. So warning, IPv6 forwarding is disabled, subnet routes and exit nodes may not work correctly. So we'll fix that after we log in, so we can paste that here. So you're about to connect CasaOS, so we will go to Casa. We'll go here, disable key expiry first, just so we don't have to redo this. Edit route settings, use as exit node. So I'm currently just in the SMB config here, and there's this massive do not modify thing. I think that just comes with CasaOS by default. So I think that's pretty misleading. You should be allowed to do whatever the hell you want with your devices. So CasaOS will not provide technical support. That's fine. Maybe just don't put this massive scary reminder here when you're literally just editing a SMB config. Okay, so now I have connected, I've put it into Samba, the config, so let's see if we can connect to it here. So let's connect through 192.168.2.123/drive. So it looks like just editing the config file was enough to just get my my whole thing on here. So let's just load up my first video real quick. Let's see if it'll want to play, and it plays pretty quickly, honestly. Yeah, that's cool. And that's all for like what you're meant to do with boards like this. So you can do things, you can run your media servers, you can run your file shares, you can run pretty much anything you want. And this app store, genuinely a really cool concept, and I really like it. So let's say I wanted something like Qubit torrent. I saw that earlier. So if I wanted to just install some torrents on here, so password get from log, so let's install Qubit torrent. And the GDP of this thing, I haven't seen it up here go above 10. So compared to a full fat, like old ass AMD CPU, this is really nice. So admin, and there's no password, but we can grab that from logs over here, I believe. Terminal and logs. So there's our password. So we can set our password up here. Or not, or we can just keep this one, sure. But yeah, that's how simple it was to get something like Qubit torrent running a web UI instantly like that. That's what I love about Docker. Docker makes things so much easier, and I'm mad I didn't find out about this earlier. So I think now we should try and do some gaming on this. You know, maybe push it a little bit farther than what ZimaSpace wanted us to do with this.
We're unplugging my main monitor. I literally have nothing else. No room on that power bar. Alright, so now we're plugged in with just a mini display port to HDMI adapter. Now I'm not sure if they give this to everyone, so... Whoa, okay, so we're in Grub. We went a little bit too fast there. So let's just unplug and replug. And now let's just hit every single button known to man here. Just hit all of these. Hopefully one of them works. Now it's freaking out. Okay, so this looks like your average thing. We got secure boot. So yeah, it's not even on by default. But now I want to boot. Let's see, we have Windows Boot Manager here. Debian, MMC, UEFI OS. Okay, so I think I want UEFI USB. That's what I want here. You know what, wait, let's change this to USB, Debian. Now we save. Now hopefully we'll boot. Oh, what is that? That looks like a screwed up Windows logo. I've seen this before though, so it'll probably load through it eventually. So I have another SSD plugged in. That was the SN520 that you saw. So I don't want to overwrite the OEM partitions on here with all the original stuff. So I will just overwrite that drive with a new Windows installation just to test this thing out. So again, we're still going with Tiny 10 that we used on the Chromebook, which I have a feeling this is going to be at least a little bit faster than what the Chromebook was, just because it's an actual like computer and not meant to run Chrome OS. But you know what, we'll see. It's still just a Celeron. I'm not expecting too much out of it. So you can see here we have a drive 0, so we'll just delete that because that's our 500 gigabyte SSD. So we'll go delete this. And we can just install it on the unallocated space. And now we wait. Okay, so we're in and it's all installed, so let's just go select Canada again. What the hell? I don't think that's supposed to happen. Wait, what the hell? Yo, I'm default user 0. Microsoft account. No Microsoft account. I don't want password again, temp install. I just want to see the gaming performance of this thing, just because it's funny. No. No. Dude, it's so dumb. They have to ask me like 12 times a second. Alright, let's do calmless skip. Is it gonna work? Works like half the time. Yeah, it does. Okay, so honestly, we don't have any graphics drivers right now, but just off the responsiveness on it, it doesn't seem that bad. We are pinned at 100% CPU though. So we do have 8 gigs of RAM, 1600 megahertz. Oh brother, they did not mention that. Okay, running 1600 megahertz RAM in 2024, probably not a big issue for what it's designed for, but it may hurt the gaming performance. All right, so we have everything. So yes, I want network. So I want to just until get everything. Let's grab Steam. So we can see disk 1 is actually SD for the eMMC in there. So again, 32 gigs. So let's just try some stuff here. Let's go Edge. You can see the two Realtek gigabit controllers right there. You can see there's dual Ethernet controllers, so if you really wanted to make a router out of this thing, you really could. So one LAN, one WAN, plug in a switch, you'll be good to go. But PCI, so these two missing devices here. I mean, this is pretty specialty hardware, so I'm not surprised that it's missing. So now let's open processors. I forget how many cores this has. So it's a quad core. Okay, so we got one of the games that I ran on the Chromebook here, and it ran relatively well there, so I have no assumptions that it's not going to run here. So let's hit yes there. XNA framework, just like last time, but this time I don't have to mess with storage for 3 hours. And also graphics drivers installed okay, just after a little bit of tinkering. We got Intel HD Graphics 500, so it's not bad. Let's look at what our CPU is doing. 100% like normal. You can see the graph is just all 100. For here, it's only 4 gigs of RAM being used. But again, it's 1600 megahertz, which area has opened. You can see the little flashing lights on the SSD. Okay, so it's loading in after a minute. I don't have any audio set up for this because it's plugged into monitor without audio. So just imagine you can hear the Terraria soundtrack right now. Oh, okay. So we loaded the cutscene and then it crashed. Let's see if it can recover. There we go. Let's go English, single player. Let's just try and run at normal settings. So let's not change anything, and then let's just try and play. So even just moving the cursor around is kind of like lagging it a little bit. Okay, so we're in. Ew, that is rough. The Chromebook is running this better. Then again, I did dump the resolution on that. This is 1080p normal settings, so let's see. Let's see what happens if I try and match that. So, oh my, wow, that's still pretty slow. Let's see if we can get this going a little bit better. I'm surprised that this is going less well than the Chromebook did, so maybe we gotta turn these down. So this is not really playable. This is like this is pretty bad. Because if you look at regular Terraria gameplay, it is much faster than this. Like, this is about half speed. So that's fun. Let's try a 3D game now, just because, I mean, this one ran. Well, I think walked is a better term, but okay. I mean, we're in the game. It's kind of it's running a little bit. I mean, this is kind of just a small indie game. It's basically just for 3D test. So hold the right mouse click to run. Okay, yeah, let's go. Let's see if. Okay, so it's like 15, 16 FPS. I don't have any frame counters on here. So yeah. So in reality, something like this, you're not going to use it for gaming. You're not supposed to use it for gaming. So it's more something like an IoT device, something that you can use for some just quick storage, just that you can leave it at your house, a NAS. It's meant for stuff like this. It's definitely not meant for gaming. And for what it is, for what it's meant to do, this is a good product. I do recommend this product for maybe not the 832 model, because at the price that it's currently listed at, it might be a little bit too much money. But what you do save with something like this that's running on a Celeron is that power bills will be exceptionally lower, especially if you live in a place with high power costs. The cost of running like a higher TDP computer will add up. So for that reason, I do see the point of this computer. And you know what? It's a sleek design. It's nice. It's minimal. You can bring this anywhere really. And yeah. So this was another Test Kit Tech video. Thank you so much for ZIMASPACE for sponsoring this video. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, hit that join button, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.